Today we're going to plant some trees, and here we are in the process of extending our fruit orchard, and we had a tree here that failed and kind of refused to grow in the first year, so we're going to replace the tree here. And what I'm going to do is I clear a little more grass away and then make a hole to plant. Take the mulch away. So we prefer it to be about 1 meter across where there is no grass, and then in the middle we shall make a hole. So we make sure that the hole is well big enough to put some compost in. And so we're just gonna see how the tree fits in. What we have here, we cover this with mulch after digging out in our nursery. And it has a wonderful rootstock, which is this is a quince root. And I grafted a medlar on top of it. That's a tree which we still haven't had here in our orchard, and so we like to grow this also. And I think we can put a little more dirt underneath, even a little bit more compost. So there will be plenty of food for the tree to have a good start. A little more compost. Shake it a little bit so the dirt goes well between the roots. And then a light cover. Sort of half-rotten branches, they're always good as moisture storage and addition to the soil. They will become soil in a very short time. And then compact it lightly down and we sprinkle a little more compost right on top before we put the mulch on. So all the microorganisms can kind of expand and grow in the mulch that we put around. And then once the grass, the green grass, grows well around here, we mow it and give it a very good mulch for the summer. And we also put a stick that once the grass grows up, we will see very well where the tree actually is. So here we also need to make sure that no rabbits or hares are gonna go onto our trees, so we give it a netting for protection. And we have used this kind of small chicken wire netting for many times, and just bring them from again and again to the young trees that we plant once the trees are old enough to take it off. But it's particularly apple trees that are prone to rabbit and hare damage. And we tie on the netting here. So the tree will be safe to grow. So here, when we came to the land on this hill here, it was very short grass, and it took about 2 or 3 years for the grass just to grow even 30-40 centimeters high, because the ground had not much power. So what we did, we planted all the trees throughout the area where we wanted to grow orchard, and to improve the soil, because in Europe they have been used for centuries to regenerate depleted soil. And now we have taken the alders out in this area, and we have some more space to plant some trees. And we're going to plant a pecan nut tree here. And when we look down to the ground, we have the leaf matter, and it leaves a dark layer on top of the soil. And when we have that continuous growth of soil, that means that we actually do regenerative land care. So here we have many roots in the ground of the alders and some other bushes as well. And now that we have cut them down, they will be an excellent sponge to absorb water and hold water in dry times in the first years, as they slowly rot and become soil and add more soil to the land. And then here we have some compost that's made purely with branches of trees. We make mounds of branches, and in a few years' time they become the most beautiful dirt or the most beautiful soil. And we mix some of this into the soil here before we're gonna plant. And a hand of compost with it. And then we have some pecan trees here, and I'm just gonna pull one out. They usually make very strong roots, like a strong taproot, and then have these little roots that go out, and we make sure that they are spread out as much as we can as we fill it in again. And we give a little bit more compost in there, just close to the tree. And when we plant a tree, it's important that we fill the soil to the same level like it has been in the nursery. A little more of that beautiful branch compost. A little more of this compost, soil again. And we press it down lightly and make sure on the slope that we make like an even surface, so the water that comes running down the hill will collect by the tree. And on the surface we just put a little more compost for the microorganism to be right underneath the mulch. And we just mulch with some leaf and branch litter first, and once the grass grows in spring we will have plenty of green grass to mulch the tree. I'll get a few more leaves if I can find them. Here we're going to plant a walnut tree that we have grown in our garden, and we have dug the hole already, and what we basically do, we take 1 meter in diameter the grass away and turn it over, and that will be a wonderful breeding ground for worms under these clumps of the grass. And now we're going to mix in some soil, which is composted pruning branches, and over years they have made this beautiful black soil, and so we bring some of this into the hole, and a little bit of compost, very rich compost, and mix it up in the hole with some of the soil. And then here we have the tree in a moist or wet bag, so the roots are not exposed to the sun, and that's very important in a sunny day like today. And yeah, that's a walnut that we have grown from a nut in the garden, and the walnut usually makes a very thick taproot, and but it has made many beautiful roots, and this one made even 3 taproots. and we're gonna place it into the hole. So the surface is the same height as the soil here, and we start filling it in with this soil mixture. And make sure that the little roots, we're not squeezing them all down in the middle, but they come out as far as possible in the hole. We have also pruned the tree back, because cutting the roots means that also to support really the tree and have a good growth in the first year, it is important to cut it back. So we bring some more soil. And we use more the branch compost. And make sure again that we pull out the little roots to the side, like these ones here. Shake it a little bit so the soil goes really well around the roots. Press the soil down, so it's well compacted. And we just spread a little bit on the surface. And here I have some litter from under an old walnut tree, and some soil and leaves, and that's always good to get the right microorganisms for a tree to grow well. Or with most trees, this is a great benefit. So here I brought some half-rotten grass for mulching, and I just spread this on top of the compost layer, and this will keep the tree moist and keeps the grass away until there is more green grass around here to cut and mulch again. And I have grown dozens of walnut trees by seed, and I find that many of them come out with a similar or even better size and quality than parent trees.